to get all of the cameras placed in all of the right spots, and since it's exactly 1 o'clock, we'll get started then. All right, that seems fine. All right. So feel free to mute yourself or unmute yourself. Feel free to leave any comments as we're going. There's a chat thing on the side, and I think I am actually close enough that if anyone throws anything in the chat, I will actually be able to read it. So I know that there's at least one person on here that has done paper than Pilates before. And unfortunately, when we're going live on the Facebook feed, the video has to be horizontal. So people that are over on the Zoom, you're getting a little bit better of an angle. So I will share this video with everyone then. So thank you for joining me. If you've never done paper than Pilates, this was a program created by a physical therapist who went through breast cancer treatment and realized that there was a definite need for sort of stretching and strengthening protocols to be taught to exercise and fitness professionals as well as physical therapists to help women get back into action after going through breast cancer treatment. So since I've got a whole bunch of people virtually here and I can't really see what you're doing, I can kind of see. I'm going to kind of take you through a more of a basic class. If anybody has any specific injuries or ailments, feel free to message me. I am going to go read those Facebook comments real quick before we get started. But I will do my best to throw out lots of notifications. And please know that if anything doesn't feel right to you today, take a second and pause. And that would be a good thing to message me about later so that I can help you. All right, great. We just got some people watching. Okay, perfect. All right. I am feeling good to get started. So I am going to actually turn this way so that I can see everybody. So let's bend your knees. Whether you are on a bed or a mat, bend your knees, grab a hold behind here. I am actually doubled up on that because I am on a hard wooden floor, and this is my 3rd hour of teaching. So I'm taking care of my back a little bit. So there's one thing to note for those of you at home, make sure that you're padded enough. So just kind of grab a hold here. Lift yourself up nice and tall, finding your best posture. And then exhale, just kind of slide your tail away, slump back into that not so awesome posture that we often use at our desks and at our tables and while we're sitting around reading and relaxing. And then inhale, lift that up, and feel free to shut your eyes here. I promise not to do anything exciting. And then exhale, slide your tail away, draw your low back towards the mat. And then inhale, lift that up nice and tall. Exhale, slide your tail away, round through that, drawing your low back towards the mat. Inhaling up, lifting yourself nice and tall. Sliding that tail away, coming backwards. And then lifting back up. So let's let those knees just kind of drop open so that you can shift your weight forward a little bit on your side. And I just want to do a little breathing here. So let's inhale and float your arms up to whatever level they'll go. So they may only go to your ears. If they come up all the way over your head, that is fine. And then exhale, then back down. So honoring your own range of motion. Inhaling part way up. Exhaling all the way up. Inhaling part way down. Exhaling all the way down. And if you get halfway up and you realize that that's your point of comfort, that's where you're going to stop. Exhale. And then let's inhale part way down. Exhale all the way down. So let's take our hands onto the floor beside us. And we're just going to start to spider them around your body, finding rotation, looking over your neck, shoulder as you exhale. And when you get to your end range of motion, take an inhale and see if you can grow taller in your seat. And then exhale, twist a little bit further. And then one more of those. Inhale, see if you can grow taller through your spine, taking it up to the ceiling. And then exhale, twist walking in that opposite direction, looking over your back shoulder, taking that inhale to hold, exhale, twist a little further, inhale to hold, exhale, twist a little further, one last one of those, and then bring that back here. Find yourself up and seated, line yourself up, and then roll down onto your mat. So this is where everybody may need to make some phone, camera, computer adjustments, but you want your head rested down on your mat. Maybe if you need to be able to see me, you can see me. I will do my best to use really good visual cueing so that you don't need to see me. So we're just going to start here moving our spine. So one of the basic principles of Pilates is just spinal movement. So it's sort of at the root of the whole thing. So you're going to slide your tail away, drop your low back into the mat, and then inhale, reach that out so you've got the biggest arch of your spine possible. And then exhale, slide your tail away, drop your low back into the mat, and then inhale, reach that out. So if I move my arms, you can see that I'm creating a space between my back and the mat, and then exhale, sliding that away, and I'm engaging through my transverse abdominals here, and then releasing that out, finding a big arch of your spine. And depending on what kind of ancillary surgeries you had around your cancer treatment journey, you may have some tightness and tension down in those transverse lower abdominals, and really just thinking about sliding that tail away, breathing in, feeling that low back drop into the mat, thinking about letting your pelvic floor kind of open and relax, and then take that the other way. Exhale, gather that all up and engage so that you're letting your diaphragm find all of its movement and fluidity that it can have. You're taking nice, full, deep breaths all the way, getting to the bottom of your lungs, and then equally with the same amount of gusto, getting all of that air back out. And then let's stop and just let your spine this time on the way back through land in its natural curve. So you're just letting your spine relax down into the mat. For some of us, we might feel all of it in contact with the mat. For some of us, it might feel some of it in contact with the mat. We're going to work through some upper body things here. I think these exercises are even more juicy when done on a foam roller. So if you grabbed the recording of this, or you're watching it later and you have a roller, put it between your head and your tail here. I'm going to give you the no roller options. So as best you can, you're going to reach your hands up straight out from your shoulders. Reaching your fingertips to the sky. If they need to be pointed down a little bit lower towards your hips and that's where you are today, that's fine. If you start to feel fatigue in your arms, feel free to always put them down on the mat and give them a little break. So you're going to make some circles, just drawing sort of volleyball-sized circles with your hands straight up in the air, just moving that shoulder joint around. And then take those arms and go the other way. Try to connect that circle with your breath, so inhaling and then exhaling. Let's do one more circle in this direction. And then we're going to bring your hands back, and you're going to take them down into a triangle, and then reach that up, and then take your arms down into a goalpost, and then straight back up. Bending your elbows, and straight back up. Inhaling down, exhaling back up. One more of those. Inhaling down, exhaling back up, and then inhaling that down, pausing here, and then really just shutting your eyes and focusing on yourself here. I want you to rotate your hands back towards the ground. So the backs of your hands are coming towards the ground. Your range of motion may be nowhere near mine, where mine is. And then exhale, bring them back to where they started. And then try to rotate them down towards the ground. Just finding your internal and external rotation. There is no reason to go past the point of pain, but just going to where you feel a gentle stretch. Inhaling back, exhaling up, rotating through those arms. And then maybe as you're doing this, remembering not to go to a point of pain, but just observing if internal and external rotation are different for you. If one arm is different than the other, which I would imagine for most of us, it is one way or the other. And then bring those arms back, take them up to the sky, and then let them come open, and then back up. Open. A new puppy. Olivia, this is the hour I told you you could not be on your iPad. If you're going to be on your iPad, you either need to go into the closet or outside.
Okay. Okay. Into the closet because
Inhaling that open, exhaling that closed. One more of those. And then just let your arms come down to your side and give them a little break here. Just take a second to take a whole scan of you. So starting from the top of your head and working your way down to your toes. Do you have any areas of tightness or tension? Just take a second to breathe into those. Feeling your collarbone wide on your mat, your hips level and even. Your ribs should kind of be engaged with the mat. And we're going to move through your lower body here again. So we did those pelvic tilts earlier. We're going to take this to some leg slides. So we're going to connect into our transverse abdominals in a different manner. So you're going to take your right leg and slide it out long on the mat. And then exhale, pull that leg back into you, trying to turn on your transverse abdominals as you do that. And then the left leg slides out. And then it pulls back into you. Right leg slides out. And then it exhales and pulls back into you. Left leg slides out. Exhale and pulls back into you. Slides out long. Exhale back into you. Left leg goes out long. Exhales back into you. One more of those on each side, sliding out long. Coming back into you. And then your other leg out long and back into you. Once you get here, let those hands rest down at your side again. I'm going to try something different. You can also, I've got like bad pants on for this, that you can also grab a hold of your pants and give yourself a little bit of assistance here if you'd like. Then you're going to float your right leg up into a chair position and then lower it down. And then float your left leg up into a chair position and lower it down. As you do that, you're thinking about trying not to change the bend in your knee. And then the other one. And then down. Lifting. And lowering. Lifting. And lowering. Lifting. Lowering. Lifting.
Logan doesn't even know Hannah.
Lifting and lowering. One more of those. And down. Alright, I'm going to layer in a little bit more. Actually, let's grab a stretch from here. Let's bring your feet and your knees together. Let those hands come out to your sides just a little bit. Drop your knees over to the right. And then exhale back to center. And then over to the left, letting those knees sway. Exhale back to center. Since I didn't give a specific cue, check in with your feet. Are you letting your one foot come off the ground as you sway side to side? Or are you leaving both feet on the ground? Whichever option you took in the last sway, take the other one. So I was lifting one of my feet. So now I'm going to leave them down. And it gives you a little bit of a different stretch in your back as you go side to side. One last one of those. And I lied because we got to go the other way to the even, or at least I do. So check in with yourself and see if you're even. And then come back in, float one foot up into a chair position, and then your other foot up into a chair position. So now you've got even more abdominal challenge. And then take a second, if you've got your camera on and you can see your body in there, you can use it for a little bit of a check-in. So you want your hips at a 90-degree angle and your knees at a 90-degree angle. Or if you're at home and you've got a mirror that you can see into, even better. So with that thought, you're going to take one foot down towards the ground, trying not to change the bend in your knee, and then the other one. So this is like those leg lifts we did a moment ago, that now you're starting from that upright position. So you should feel a little bit more work in your transverse. If this doesn't feel like an appropriate increase in the exercise, go back to the other exercise by putting your feet down on the ground.
Why is that mad
One more of those. And then come up. Let your feet go, your hands go a little bit wider than you. And then you're going to drop your knees over to the right just a little bit, leaving them lifted. Exhale, pull them back to center. And then go over to the left. And then adjust as you come back to center. Do you need your arms wider, less wide? How are you doing? And then drop that over. And then lift back up. Inhaling over. Exhaling back up. Inhaling over. Exhaling back up. Inhaling over. Exhaling back up.
for no reason?
Inhaling over. Exhaling back up. One more of those. Inhaling over. Exhaling back up. Give those knees a little squeeze into you, let your low that ground. And whether you grab behind your hamstring or behind your knees, we're going to let your knees come apart, circle them wide, bring those knees back together. Take them apart, circle around, back together, around, apart, back together. Light off. Door shut.
Ooh, you're bossing me.
You're not supposed to be in my TV. My 7-year-old, everybody. One more of those. And then bring that back. Alright, so let's let those feet rest down. Let's go to a little bit more upper body work. So let's take those arms straight up into the air. So normally when we reach our hands straight up into the air, we turn our palms naturally to face one another, or at least I do. What I would like you to do is do the exact opposite of that. So you put the backs of your hands together. And then with your backs of your hands together, you are going to bend your elbows and then bring your hands down onto your chest. When you look up at your arms, you're going to see a letter M. That's how we know we've done this successfully. If that doesn't feel comfortable to you, you can just sort of let your hands gently rest on your collarbone crossed, but there is a sort of reason for my madness. Take a nice big inhale here, as big as you can. Exhale, use all of that air and try to peel your head and neck up off of that. And then when you come up, use your fingertips to push down into your abdominals so you feel those muscles turn on, and then lower yourself back and down. And then tuck your chin to your chest, heeling up, and then lower back and down. I seem to have lost a lot of my sunlight here, so I'm going to go throw a light on so that you can see me. And back again. Or Olivia, will you turn all the lights on?
Which light?
All of them. Keep going. Thank you. And then back and down. 2 more of those. One more of those. And then down. Let those arms come down. Let those shoulders relax. Think wide through your collarbone here. And then let's leave those knees bent. Let's bring them into you a little bit, and let's go to some bridging. So this comes with lots of options, and I want you to stop wherever you feel comfortable. So if you're just feeling like pelvic tilts are for you today, which would basically be, I just stood my arms out so you can see my spine. You're going to slide your tail away, roll your hips up, squeeze through the back side of your body, and then lower yourself back and down. And then slide that away, roll up, squeeze through the back side of your body, and then lower, back, and down. I'm going to put my hands back in so they're in good form now. Slide your tail away, roll your hips up, squeeze through the back side of your body, and you do not need to get all the way up. You can go to whatever level of lift is working for you. Slide your tail away, roll your hips up into the air, squeeze through the back side of the knee, straightening out that hamstring, getting as much stretch and length as you can, and then let that leg go out long. Pulling this leg back to you for that nice big hamstring stretch, and always you can leave this leg bent as much as you need to. So, and if you have brought a belt, that's where I was talking about, it could come in handy here to make your arms a little bit longer as you're reaching for that foot. Just using a few nice deep breaths here, trying to find a little bit more of that stretch. And then, if you want to use that belt to control your legs for this next exercise, you are welcome to. Otherwise, remember, as much a bend in your extended left leg as you can, and if you need a bend in your right leg, feel free and go ahead. But we're going to go to some single leg circles, and I think the best way to control this is to have your hands onto your hips and keep them there. Cross over your body, circle that leg down, around, draw your abdominals in and come up. Cross over your body, circle around and 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 up. And then go the other way. Inhaling away, exhaling around and up. Inhaling away, exhaling around and up. Inhaling away. Exhaling around and up, inhaling away, exhaling around and up. Keeping that leg circle going. One more circle, and then come up. Give that knee a squeeze into you. And then we're going to switch legs. So pull that other leg back into you. Use that belt if you like. Grabbing that big stretch here. Taking 1 or 2 more nice deep breaths here. See if you can find any more straightness, any more length in either leg. And then release that leg straight up to the sky, wherever you can. And if you've got that belt on it, you're welcome to keep it there for this one. Inhaling to cross over your body. Exhaling, circling around and coming up. Inhaling to cross over, exhaling around and up. Inhaling to cross over, exhaling around and up. Inhaling to cross over, exhaling around and up. Inhaling over, exhaling around and up. 1 more of those in that direction. And then come up, and we're going to go the other way. Inhaling away, exhaling around and up. 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 1 more of those, and then come up. Give that knee a squeeze into you. And then bring that other leg down. We're going to do one of my favorite series here that starts with a nice little stretch. So you're going to take your right leg and cross it over your left knee in that same bridge position. If you land here and this feels like a stretch, by all means, just hang out here. If you feel like you want some more, and you can also use your belt to make your arms longer, so you could pass your belt through behind here. But with your right leg crossed over, you're going to grab the hold of your left leg and pull that left leg back to you so that you're stretching the left leg. And then just taking a breath or two, seeing if you could go any further into that nice little hip stretch. If you feel like a challenge, you can, we're going to let go with our hands either way, that if you want to leave that left leg lifted for a little bit of an increased challenge, you can. Otherwise, that left leg can hit the ground so you look just like I do. All right. A few options. So no matter what, your right arm is going to reach semi out across the room wherever it can. Unfortunately, my body is blocking it in the camera. Your left hand, if your shoulder opens and it can come behind your head, it will support your neck there. If it can't come behind your head, you can bring it in front of you or across your body so that it's touching the opposite shoulder. Any of those options will be perfectly fine. This will just give you the most head and neck support. And we're going to curl across your body and down. Using that exhale to twist, keeping this slow and controlled with the thought that you're drawing your left shoulder towards your right knee, but only using your available range of motion. You don't get bonus points for getting more of these in. Exhaling across your body. One more of those. And then bring that back down. Let's let both arms go out long. Drop your knees over one another so they're sitting cross-legged if that works for you. If not, bring them right next to one another. I'm going to take the cross-legged option. So your knees are going to fall to the left and you are going to look to the right. What I forgot to tell you was this whole series is like a fun game of Twister. And then bring that leg back. Uncross that leg. Cross your left leg over. Reach on through. Pull that leg back to you. one more breath here, wherever you are. And then decide which option you want. So do you want to let go with your hands and leave your leg lifted and parallel to the mat? Or do you want to let that leg rest down on the mat? The left arm's going to go out across the room now. You can actually see what I'm talking about. Remember, you can take that hand just across your body. You can bring it in front of your head, which actually makes your head a little heavier. It's not my favorite option. You can take it to the same shoulder, which sometimes can give you too much momentum, or you could bring it behind your head. So my favorite options are crossed over your body here or behind your head, supporting it. And you're going to go across your body and down. And the option that you need on this side might be different than the option that you needed on the other side. Thinking about moving across your body gently. One more of those. And then bring that back. Let those arms go out, cross your knees over one another. Drop your knees over to the right, or you can bring them parallel. Whatever option is working for you. And then take your head and look out to the left, finding a nice little stretch. Uncross those legs. Grab a hold of one leg and use it to rock yourself up or push yourself up with whatever your hands, whatever you need to do to get to a little bit of a seated position. If you can go crisscross applesauce, let's grab that. I want to go back to just a little bit of arm work here. So you are going to go ahead and grab a hold of your knees. Find yourself as tall as you can, and then inhale and think about lifting those shoulders to your ears, and then exhale them back down, and then inhale, pull them up, exhale back down. And then I want to revisit some of that twisting. So let's bring your hands, gently start walking them around to one side. Is it the same? Is it different than earlier today? And then walk that back. Walk all the way over to the other side, twisting. Same, different. Bring that back to the middle. And then just kind of round through your spine again, finding some space. And then lift that up nice and tall. All right, so let's take those legs out long in front of you, wherever you are. And then reach your hands straight forward in front of you. Let's slide those feet about mat width apart, or about just a little bit wider than your shoulders. Reach your hands out here too. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest and roll yourself out, reaching the crown of your head in front of you. And then roll yourself back up nice and tall. And then tuck your chin to your chest and roll yourself out, reaching, and then roll back up nice and tall. Roll out, reaching, and then roll back up nice and tall. One more of those. Roll out, reaching, roll back up nice and tall. Bring your feet and your knees together. Lift yourself up out of your spine. And then follow your right arm around behind you. And then bring your hands back. And then twist your left arm around, following it around behind you. And then bring that back. Twist your right arm open, following it with your head. And then bring that back to you. Twisting open to one side and back. And then let that come down. little side lying work. So if you can make your way over onto a side. So options, I didn't tell anyone to grab the pillow, but you can grab a pillow or a ball or anything to put underneath your head so that you're not supporting your head. If you want to support your head with your arm, you can, if that works for you, if your arm will go in this position. It's a lot of arm bend. So whatever you need to do. What I don't want people doing is kind of fluffed over like that. That's really hard on your neck. So if you need to take a second to grab some props, that's fine. Go ahead, because I got some explaining to do. We're going to do some clams, which are my favorite side lying exercise. So if you lift your feet and look over your hips, you're going to be able to see your feet right there. And then let yourself rest down here. And then we're going to bring your top hand on top of your hips to give it some guidance. So right now you want your hips stacked right on top of one another. And then I want you to lift your top leg and then bring them back closed. So you're like a clam, opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. One more of those, opening and closing. And then leave that down. If this option feels okay to you, stick with it. If you feel like you've got a little more challenge left in you, what I want you to do is lift your feet off the mat so that they're lifted up into the air. And then you are going to lift your knee and then close it. And then lift it. Oh, okay. I was like, what? And then leave your knee lifted. And then close it. Lift it. And close it. Two more of those. And one more. And then let that rest down. Let your top leg come over for a little stretch. Gracefully work your way onto your other side. I think the reason I was a little muffled is this ear. I knocked one of my ear that's partially out of my ear. Alright, so let's try that. Alright, so you are on a side. And you've got your hips stacked on one top of the other. Your feet are straight out over from your glutes. Hand comes over, and we're going to lift that knee and then close. Or you can use that hand to check your form here. Lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. And one more of those, and then let's float those feet up into the air. And then let those knees come open, and that closed, open, that closed, open. One more of those. And then take that down. All right, let's come back up. So as long as your body will let you, I would like you to join me on all fours. Otherwise, bear with us for 1 minute while we do a little all fours work. In a Pilates lesson, the goal is to work all the movements of your spine. We've got flexion, extension, rotation, side bending. So I just want to draw a little flexion extension. So rounding through that, and then rounding up. So you're going to lift your head and neck up, let your spine drop One more of those. And then lower that down. All right, a little stability challenge here, and then we'll grab a few last stretches. So draw your abdominals in to support your back here, and then try to float your right arm out in front of you without shifting your weight. And then bring that down. And then try to float your left arm out in front of you, and then bring that down. If that's working, let's try that again. Right arm, and then down, and then left arm, and down. And then let's try a leg out behind you, and down. And then the other leg out behind you, trying not to shift your weight right to left, and down. One more time with the leg, lengthening it out behind you, and bring that down. And then your other side out behind you, and down. You can continue to work around your body, or we could go right arm and left leg, and then down, and then left arm, right leg, and down. One more of those, right arm, left leg, and down. Left arm, right leg, and down. And then let's just kind of sit back into a little rest position. Grab a nice little stretch. If your body will bend back here, walk those hands in front of you. And just take a few nice deep breaths, checking in with your spine. And then roll yourself back up. Let's come back to that butterfly stretch that we had to start class. So you've got your feet and your knees together. Find yourself nice and tall. And then hinge forward. And then lift yourself up nice and tall. Slide those legs out long in front of you. Bring one leg back to you. Wrap your arm around it and try to twist towards that leg. And then slide that leg out long. Bring that leg back to you. And then bring that arm back to you. Take your feet around behind you. Sink down for a little stretch. Dropping your heels down into the mat. Just kind of sinking down here. Finding the best squatting stretch that you can. And think about dropping your heels a little further if you can. And then reach your hips up to the sky. And then come up just a little bit so your fingertips are off the mat and make some circles here. And then go the other way. And then soften in your knees. Roll yourself up to standing and just take a few nice little shoulder circles here. And then go the other way. And then step your feet nice and wide wherever you're standing. Just let your hands come down to your side or just twist to one side. Twist to the other side, just kind of letting your spine rotate. And then once you get back there, if you've got a little bend in your knee, go ahead and grab it. Just adding a little bit more oomph to your stretch. Getting ready to go back to your day. One more of those. And then come on back. All right, thank you everybody for joining me. It was so good to see some of you in the virtual world. So just so everybody knows, I will be back teaching the normal Pink Ribbon class that we've been doing as a volunteer free class for everyone the last Wednesday of every month. So this was kind of a makeup for the last Wednesday of every for this. So we'll be back at it the last Wednesday of May at 1 o'clock on Wednesday in the virtual world. And I'm going to make the call now that we're going to be in the virtual world for April and May. And then hopefully in June when summer camps are happening and hopefully we are back to semi-normal, I can see some faces in my lovely studio that's right here where I am in what I'm joking is now my very extensive recording studio. So thanks everybody. Thanks.